Alright, so let's go ahead and let's remove this so we can do a little comparison and review. So first, just reviewing some of the components or just the hardware itself. You do have a 13 megapixel camera, alright, here front facing camera. Samsung still retains the actual home button, so you'll have your menu button, your return button, and then also your home button in the middle. On the side you have your power button. On this side here you have your volume rocker. You do have proximity sensors that appear at the top, including that front facing camera. You do have on the bottom your standard micro USB charging with the microphone. On the back you have your camera, as we mentioned, 13 megapixel with a flash. And on the back you do have your actual speaker. And if we do compare that, so if we look at, here is your Galaxy S3 compared to the S4. If you want to see what the difference is, if we try to align it, you'll notice here's from one edge to the bottom, you'll notice that it's just a tad slightly larger screen, not that significant, but just a little bit bigger, and which is, for the 5-inch dimension. And you'll also notice that on the bottom, the S3 tended to be more rounded. This one is more of a rectangular shape than this one is down here. You'll notice that the shape is slightly different. You'll also notice that your speaker grill for the very top is a little bit larger as it compares to the previous version. And then you'll notice that while this has 3 sensors on top, which is for all the motion sensors and also proximity sensors, this has 1, 2, 3. You'll notice that the Samsung Galaxy S3 only has 2. So that's 1, 2 sensors. You obviously see that there's a sensor missing there. On the sides, here it's side by side. While this one is a tad, I don't know if it's something that noticeable when it comes to the thickness, but you will notice that in this case, this is black. It does have a chrome finish. I also have a white version, and the white version also has this chrome finish, but the power button is close to the same spot. You'll notice that there is kind of an arcing here that doesn't exist with this phone, which is not present. If we look on this side, you'll notice that the volume rocker position did change. It went up somewhat. And then if you look at the top, you'll notice that the headphone jack did shift. So if you have any cases, while there's not a big difference in size, the cases that you have will not fit. But what you'll see is here you have another opening for microphones, right? And you only have one on the S3, but you'll notice that the headphone jack did shift. On the back, if we look at the back, you'll notice that on the back here, the actual speaker itself that resided on the bottom is now on the bottom as opposed to being on the top. So with the S4, it's on the bottom. With the S3, it's over here at the top, so that shifted. And then you'll also notice that the flash has moved. So now the flash is on a different side. The area for the actual camera is also much larger than it was for the S3. Again, these are both AT&T phones, and if we were to once again compare them side by side, visually I really can't tell much of a difference on the thickness. With the batteries, I can tell that there's a difference in weight. I find that the S4 is a little bit lighter, but this kind of gives you a sense of what's different from a hardware perspective between the S3 and the S4.